Maraming salamat sa inyong pagdalo dito sa pinatawag ng ating butihing Revenue District Officer, Attorney Helen Vista. Now, of course, kaupo lang ng ating butihing presidente. The President had just assumed office, alam niyo na yon, June 30, no? Noon time ng June 30. Now, noong sa inaugural speech niya, marami siyang naipangako sa mga Pilipino na bumoto sa kanya. In fact, he has several promises that he had made to the Filipino people that he is calling the Bureau of Internal Revenue and the Bureau of Customs to produce funds para mapunuan yung mga promises na yon. Maraming mga projects yung ating iniisip yung ating butihing presidente na nangangailangan ng buwis. In other words, we would like to express our solidarity with the President, especially doon sa kanyang mga pangako na kailangan matupad niya yon dahil yun yung covenant niya with the Filipino people. And hindi siya nag-iisa because we at the BIR, 10 ng aking mga kasamahan doon sa Region 7 ay nakikiisa doon sa aim ng ating butihing presidente na makolekta natin yung nararapat na buwis na makolekta para matulungan siya sa kanyang mithiin na mapapabuti pa ang ating bansa. Now, being a TAMP taxpayer, or meaning of TAMP is Taxpayer Account Management Program, the BIR had conceived this particular project because we feel that you as TAMP taxpayers who contributed about 80% of the collection of this district should be fed, should be treated with utmost courtesy para malaman din ninyo ang mga intricacies ng ating taxation at matutulungan kayo na ma-enhance further yung voluntary compliance. Yung BIR natin kumukolekta ng buwis, napakalaking portion ng ating collection ang voluntary compliance, meaning taxpayers reports their income and subsequently pay the corresponding taxes to the BIR. Wala pong pakialam ang BIR doon kung magkano yung ibabayad ninyo upon filing. Later on, kung sa aming opisina, makikita namin na nahuhulog kayo doon sa tinatawag nating acceptable level of payment, then that's the time we remind you that some of the taxes might not have been paid. No? So, this is more particularly important dito sa mga 80% na mga taxpayers natin constituting majority of our collection na kailangan pangangalagaan din kayo through proper information dissemination para hindi kayo magkamali sa inyong mga reports, sa inyong mga reportorial requirements, sa inyong pagbabayad ng buwis. Isa yon sa aming aim na mapapa-improve pa natin yung service sa ating mga TAMP taxpayers because we feel that you are important to us, that you contributed much to the district. Now, what will happen if the 80% of the taxpayer will not comply with the obligation stated forth in the tax code? Malaki pong bahagi ng collection ng BIR ang mawawala because kayo po ang pinaka-importanting factor sa aming collection. Therefore, we owe it to you na kailangan pagsilbihan din kayo because we feel that you are important to us. So this is now the new approach of the BIR na magiging transparent, na magiging taxpayer service oriented, wherein we will show to you later on anong expectation namin sa inyo. And then, ano rin ang expectation ninyo sa amin at saka ano yung expectation namin sa inyo, no? So that we can meet on the middle ground dahil papakita namin sa inyo yung performance or compliance performance ng ating mga taxpayer on a different industry, no? Or industry dito sa San Juan para makita ninyo kung paano nako-contribute yung mga kasamahan natin ng mga taxpayer din dito po sa ating district, no? This is not as I would like to emphasize na this is not an indictment na kayo nag-i-evade ng tax. This is only to show to you that what the BIR is expecting from you through payment of voluntary compliance is this level and kung saan po na level kayo, no? So at least alam ninyo kung below level ba yung pagbabayad ninyo ng buwis or above level. Yun pong aming tinatawag na benchmark rates. More or less hindi pa namin hindi pa namin ma-set yan on a national scale because kailangan pa natin pag-aaralan. But in the meantime, there was an old benchmark rates na way back in 2012 na igawa na yon. So more or less we will just compare the 2012 at saka yung present na payment performance, no? So that's the picture that we would like to show to you so that you will be aware, no? You will be aware that kailangan pa pala na may mga improvement pa na gagawin sa ating mga business practices or sa ating mga recording, etc., etc., which would tend to validate the findings of the BIR na there are certain taxpayers or industries who are not at par with what is the expectation of the BIR. I repeat, this is not an indictment that you are evading taxes, but this is just to show na what we expect from you at saka yung payment performance po ninyo. So wala po tayong trouble doon because these are only indicators. These are only indicators. So we would like to present this to you para at least makita ninyong overall picture ng collection ng ating Revenue District Office. So by that, we expect that through adequate knowledge ng taxpayer, through adequate information na ma-share namin sa inyo, you will know kung ano yung needs ng BIR at saka kayo rin, malalaman din namin ang needs ninyo na dapat naming tugunan because we feel that this particular relationship, symbiotic relationship, will enhance voluntary compliance, no? So we are veering away from the enforcement-centric approach and we are going into taxpayer service approach.
This is a gathering, parang orientation for the newly listed taxpayers of RDO 42 San Juan. So congratulations. Let's give each other a big round of applause. Congratulations po sa inyo because this means that your business is doing good and that you have in fact contributed to at least 80% of our district's collection for the year 2015. Kaya po kayo ay naging taxpayer, sorry. So there are 294 newly listed TAMP taxpayers for San Juan. I am here to present the accomplishments of the district for the time that I was here, October 2016. So, of course, RDO 42 is one of the 10 revenue district offices of Revenue Region 7, Quezon City. It's, of course, located at the Juana Carpio Building in Blumentritt, corner Tuanyo Street. And we have jurisdiction over 21 barangays in San Juan. Okay. What are the responsibilities of your TAMP officers? This will be discussed more fully in the succeeding presentations. So among others, just to give you an idea, among others, the functions of RDO 42 is to provide frontline assistance and service to taxpayers, of course. So, andyan yung registration, kukuha kayo ng COR, ATP, papatatak ng books of accounts, pupunta kayo sa opisina namin. And for any updates on your registration. We also conduct field audit and investigation of tax cases. And as well, we are the liaison officer. We maintain linkages with local chapters of business, civic, professional, and various organizations regarding taxpayer service and information activities. And we also coordinate with the local government units and other public and private sector groups with regard to assessment, collection, and such other activities. Since I assumed the position of RDO, of course, in October 2015, we have undertaken by way of enforcement activities, CRM POS post-evaluation of various taxpayers. We have conducted 3 tax compliance verification drives in Wilson Street, Green Hills Shopping Center, and Cardinal Santos Hospital. We have also conducted CRM POS seminars. Hindi lang naman kami all work. Meron din kaming mga iba-ibang seminar pa. So at least 8 seminars and dialogues with our various stakeholders. For the enrichment and safety of our employees, we also participated in the disaster preparedness and the recently held Metro-wide shake drill of the MMDA. So moving on to the meatier part of the presentation, which is the collection performance of the district. For the year 2014, as against the collection goal of 5.339 billion pesos, the district was able to collect 4.493 billion pesos. So medyo hindi na-reach ang target. We were off by some 15.8%. For 2015, the goal was 5,823 pesos and 725. And we were able to collect only 4,871,000 pesos something. So this was there was again a shortage of some 16% or equivalent to roughly 952 million. For our collection goal naman, 2014 vis-a-vis 2015, 2015 vis-a-vis 2016, nagkaroon po ng increase sa collection target ng some 20%. From 5.8 billion in 2015, this was raised to almost 7 billion in 2016. So in peso amounts, this roughly translates to 1.173 billion pesos. So you might be interested to know kung saan nanggaling or ano ang composition ng aming collection. Well, for 2015, per tax type, as expected, the bulk of the collection came from income taxes. So 57% ay income taxes, or some 2.775 billion pesos. Next, from the value-added tax collections, or This was 30% of our total collections, no? Or amounting to some 1.436 billion pesos. For other types of taxes, so this would be the withholding taxes, 9% po ito ng collection namin. So some 419 million pesos. And for the percentage tax, 4% po ang nai-contribute sa total collection for 2015. So, sino ang nag-contribute ng mga taxes na ito? We identify the TAMP and the non-TAMP. Being the TAMP taxpayers, parang sa mga balikat ng TAMP taxpayers, nakasalang yung collection ng nakasalalay yung collection ng district, no? So the payments of the TAMP taxpayers accounted for 82.86% of the district's collections, and for the non-TAMP, yung remainder na 17.14% or 835 billion pesos, a million rather. Together, this makes up 4.872 billion total collections for 2015 that I have mentioned earlier. So, given the drastic increase in our collection target for this year as against last year, we are worried actually. Nag-iisip kami ng saan mang gagaling yung collection. So that is why the BIR is always coming up with ways to encourage, of course, first yung voluntary compliance ng ating taxpayers. That is why we have to accept, especially kayo, bago kayong mga TAMP taxpayers. Maraming salamat po na maganda ang pagbabayad ninyo ng tax noong mga nakaraang panahon, especially 2015. Wag naman po sanang bababa, porque baka naman isipin ninyo, porque naging TAMP na kayo, pwede nyo na mas maganda ng babaan ninyo ang compliance niyo para ma-delist kayo. Wag naman po sanang ganun ang ating frame of mind. Now that you are TAMP taxpayers, maganda po sana na i-maintain or mas maganda pa nga na i-develop or i-enhance pa po ninyo yung level ng compliance ninyo. Again, this is for our nation. Your payments are needed for the are much needed for nation building. Kailangan po ng ating bansa ang tulong ng bawat isa sa atin, especially the TAMP taxpayers. So, syempre, we are all interested in the policy directions of the new administration, and these have been captured in recent issuances. So first, day 1, no, July 1, ni Commissioner Dulay, nag-issue siya ng Revenue Memorandum Circular number 70/2016. And this contained the directive for the suspension of field audits. This is, of course, in relation to the electronic letter of authority. May mga exceptions doon na provided, such as the ONET. Basically, kung ang contact with the taxpayer or visit with the taxpayer ay kinakailangan or nag-emanate from a transaction or from the initiative, no, of the taxpayer, okay lang yon. For example po, sa ONET, pwede po kami mag-conduct ng ocular inspection in connection with an application for a certificate authorizing registration or a car. Hindi po kami ang nag-initiate noon, hindi iyan pursuant to a mission order or an electronic letter of authority. Okay, so you might be interested to read the full text of the RMC in your spare time. This is, of course, posted in our website. And however, this was later clarified in RMC 75/2016, exempting letters of authority covering investigations of taxable year 2013, no, from the suspension of audit activities. Meaning, kung ang LA po na ni-issue sa inyo noon covers taxable year 2013 or prior, so 2012, 11, 10, for some reason ay pending pa rin, pwede po namin ituloy ang field investigation. Pwede po kami pumunta sa inyo. For the others, for example, taxable year 2014 ang involved, absolutely bawal po kaming makipag-contact sa inyo na kami ang pupunta mag-visit po sa premises or business establishment, no? But the taxpayer is not precluded from coming to our office for concerns, and we are not precluded from issuing assessments. Kung tapos na po, kung concluded na po ang field audit or investigation proper at pwede na po kami makapag-issue ng preliminary assessment notice, pwede po namin gawin yon. Ang bawal po is that kami makikipag-contact pa. So, kung kayo po ay, kasi, sir, we got a report the other day na there was a certain Maria Aneta Andres na allegedly is an examiner of RDO 42 daw po, na mag-ocular inspection daw noong isang taxpayer namin. Mabuti na itawag sa amin noong accountant. So very urgent daw na mag-ocular siya. And kung kayo po ay makontak nitong Maria Aneta Andres na ito or some other person, no, pretending to be an employee of the BIR, particularly of RDO 42, please verify with us. At kung alam naman po ninyo na wala kayong pending application for a car, no? So wala kayong application regarding capital gains tax, an estate tax, or sale of shares of stocks, then please notify us and help us in shedding light kung i-expose natin siya, kasi parang matulungan niyo po kami, kasi I can vouch for the people here, for my examiners and my group supervisors here, grounded po talaga with regard to those forbidden activities. Talagang tinututukan namin yung attendance nila sa office. Talaga pong hindi namin pinapayagan mag-field audit or to have any contact with the taxpayer except for the exceptions. So paki-contact na lang po kami. Kung maaari, huwag muna kayong tatawag sa 8888. Give us a chance, no? Bigyan nyo kami ng pagkakataon naman na maklarify ito, at siguro kung hindi talaga namin empleyado, i-expose natin siya. And kung empleyado namin, we have of course the responsibility to report him or her sa aming internal affairs service, and then yung internal na po ang bahalang mag-initiate ng appropriate administrative sanction. Then, regarding tax clearances, there was a mandate to release within 2 working days from submission of complete documents. Take note, complete documents. But this seems to me to be a directive sa national office. Kasi national office na po, di ba po, ang nag-i-issue ng tax clearances. What remains with the district is the issuance of the delinquency verification or yung routing slip po na tinatawag namin. And based on that, we issue the certification that the taxpayer or the applicant has no pending or no open stop filer cases. So yung delinquency verification namin should be issued within 24 hours from filing. And once issued, it will be valid for 1 month. So kung may nakita po na open case kayo at hindi po ninyo na-comply, nag-lapse ang 1 month, pasensya na po, ulit po tayo ulit. We will go back to stage 1 ng verification. Thirdly, regarding the certificate authorizing registration or the CAR. Alam niyo, nung bagong dating ako sa BIR, pina-attend agad ako ng boss ko ng meeting. Halika, join us in the meeting. Tapos nag-uusap sila, mga fake cars, ganyan. Sabi ko, ang dami palang kotse dito sa BIR na napepeke. Hindi ko alam ano pala yung certificate authorizing registration. So kayo, alam ko, familiar kayo dyan. So, the Commissioner has required us to issue within 5 days from submission of, again, complete documentary requirements. So, ito naman po hindi na bago because this has this is a reiteration of the ARTA, Anti-Red Tape Act. Let me emphasize again that 5 days is counted from submission of the complete documents. So, kami po, we are in the process of consolidating, collating all the requirements that are prescribed under the various issuances. Kasi po, titingnan mo yung website namin, may ganitong kahabang requirements. Titingnan mo yung likod ng aming 1905, yung updates for registration, may ganyan kaigsing requirements. So we are in District 42, we are in the process of validating, reconciling the requirements. So, and then we will be issue yung gusto ni Presidente, di ba, na shopping list. We will give you a shopping list of the documents that you have to prepare. And then, tsaka lang po namin tatanggapin yung inyong mga documents. I have to give this word of caution though, na nung umupo ho ako, naghigpit ho ako, especially doon sa mga transfer sa ONET, ng signature ng mga transferor. Kasi hindi trivial ang involved dito na mga property. Ang involved dito, di ba, lupa, di ba, bahay. Talagang it will really affect the lives of a person who is unduly deprived. Kasi hindi natin maiiwasan, may mga loko na sumasalisi, nagpo-forge ng signature. So ako po, naghihigpit ako doon sa pagre-require ng photocopy ng valid ID ng seller or donor or basta ng transferor with specimen signature sa ID. Para po, ma-compare po naman namin doon sa deed transferring the right, no? So if be it the deed of absolute sale or the deed of donation, 'di ba? Ma-compare naman po namin. We do not guarantee na 100% foolproof. 'Di ba? Kasi kung talagang magaling yung kamay ng kokopya, even kami maluloko din, 'di ba? But we give our assurance that we in the district will exercise due diligence as much as possible na hindi po mapasalin sa maling tao or ma-deprive yung isang tao ng kanyang property through forgeries in the DOAS or the deed of donation. So, siguro narinig na rin po ninyo, nakapost din po kung kayo'y napadalaw na sa aming opisina, nakapost po doon ang notices na we are implementing strictly the no gifts policy. So BIR employees are prohibited from soliciting and or accepting gifts whether from public or private persons. So bawal kami manghingi, bawal kami tumanggap ng anumang regalo, monetary or otherwise. But this was clarified in a later memorandum of our DepCom, si DepCom Aranas, no? And he cited the exceptions under Section 14 of RA 3019 or the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act. So hindi ko na i-mention yung mga exceptions na yon because we observe the general rule that we do not accept gifts. STOP. What is STOP? May nakakaalam ng STOP? Of course, STOP spells stop. So, alam na po ninyo, hindi ko na i-belabor pa kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng kung ano yung i-stop namin. But this is of course in consonance with the policy of our President and our present administration sa BIR to improve revenues collection. To plug the leakage na hindi po nasa-siphon sa maling tao or away from the government coffers yung ating pera. So I included this in my presentation because I want to make a plea to you, our taxpayers, to please cooperate. Please help us. Please help us na mag-STOP. Kasi alam naman natin, we were not born yesterday. Alam natin, most of the time nga it is the taxpayer who initiates. Aminin man natin o hindi, it's the taxpayer who initiates. And sinasabi ko, what I want to say is that it takes two to tango. Hindi ba? Kung walang offer, walang acceptance. So please, we are pleading to you to cooperate in the President's advocacy. So, the last policy or priority is benchmarking. This was earlier elucidated by our director that kino-compare yung tax compliance ng mga iba't ibang companies or taxpayers within a certain industry. So kina-cluster muna by industry. For example, kayo ba ay nasa manufacturing ng steel products? So kinukuha po namin yung mga gross profit rates. We are using percentages, percentiles, no, or rates. We are not using absolute amounts. Hindi namin sinasabi na si taxpayer A nagbabayad ng 1 million na income tax. Bakit ikaw, taxpayer B, nagbabayad ka ng 100,000 lamang? Kasi relative yun yung absolute amount. So ang kinukuha namin is the GP rate for income tax. Kasi more or less, you are within the same industry, and to be competitive with your competitors, di ba? Hindi kayo masyado naglalayo ng mga presyo. So, accounting for some slight variances, of course, hindi dapat ganoon kalaki ang disparity ng GP rate ni taxpayers A, B, C, D within a certain industry. Kasi yun na nga, hindi kayo magiging competitive, hindi kayo magiging viable kung sobrang laki ng markup mo. Diba? Wala kang sales, hindi ka bibilhan ng customer mo. So I think that is the rationale for the benchmarking, and I think it makes a lot of sense. I have also been given the go signal to relay to you this afternoon that if you comply with the published benchmark rates within your industry, you are on the safe side. What does that mean? Kayo po ay aming gagawing last priority in audit. So kung maganda po ang compliance ninyo, kung kayo po ay umaabot doon po sa benchmark rate for your industry, then hindi namin kayo kakatukin. If you get what I mean. So I encourage you to improve your compliance. If possible, comply na po with the benchmark rates of your industry, and you will not be hearing anything from us. Kasi po, yun naman po talaga ang objective namin, to enhance voluntary compliance. Iilan lang po kami rito. In fact, I only have 17 examiners and 7 group supervisors. So 17 plus 7 are only 24 in the assessment section. Ilan kayo na taxpayers namin? So para lang to make effective use, ma-maximize ang use ng aming personnel, syempre, uunahin na namin yung pangit ang compliance, di ba po? So that is what I mean by saying that you are on the safe side if you are complying with the benchmark rates. So as the director has mentioned, kami po ay we are moving towards the standardization on a nationwide level, but medyo matagal pa po siguro yon. So for the meantime, we will make do with the 2012 rates. So I highly encourage you to look that up, and sana po i-comply na po ninyo. So that is the end of my presentation. Before I leave, again, maraming salamat po sa pagdalo ninyo ngayong hapon. Sana po ay may matutunan kayo sa presentations ng aming mga supervisor on the different projects that the district is implementing, kasi ito na rin po yung mga projects na ipagtutuloy-tuloy po namin. Of course, with emphasis on benchmarking, which will be discussed by Supervisor Romel later on. So thank you very much and have a pleasant afternoon.
TAMP pursuant to RMO number 4-2002, ito po dated March 2002, prescribing policies, guidelines, procedures in the implementation of Taxpayer Accounts Management Program or the TAMP, amending certain provisions of RMO number 22-2000 as amended by RMO 12-2001. Ay nagkaroon po ng additional RMO tungkol po dito, yung RMO number 41-2011 and RMO 20-2014. So ang action to be taken for this TAMP to identify taxpayers included in TAMP. Yan ang aming mga action to be taken. Distribute assigned TAMP taxpayers among ROs. So sa amin meron kaming TAMP na 1,210 po 17 examiners po ang naka-assign po sa inyo. So about isang examiners, meron pong mga more or less 70 na taxpayer na paminsan imomonitor po kayo at tatawagan. Okay po, yung pong 17 examiners po namin. Generate, determine open cases for each TAMP taxpayers. Determine non-EFPS TAMP taxpayers. Ito po yung mga TAMP nga kayo, hindi pa po na enroll sa EFPS po, required po yan, mandatory, So, inform taxpayers of the penalty for non-compliance with the EFPS requirement in pursuant to the provisions of Revenue Regulation 9-2001 as amended by Revenue Regulation number 10-2014. Yan. At dito po rin po, determine namin kung yung TAMP taxpayer po ay lumipat sa ibang RDOs, yung transferred out po. Kamukha po ninyo, baka kayo, newly TAMP taxpayer, iba po sa inyo, baka dahil bagong enroll kayo sa amin, na qualified kayo as TAMP, yung pwede sa inyo, baka galing po sa ibang district, TAMP na po kayo doon. Pero karamihan dito, bagong TAMP taxpayers lang po. So, ang kwan po namin yan, kung naka-enrolled kayo as TAMP taxpayer na po sa RDO namin, ayun nga po, merong monitoring ng filing of returns. Kino-compare namin yung voluntary compliance and determine variances. Kung medyo bumaba po yung pwede kayong tawagan po ng aming TAMP officer, yung aming examiner. Kung bumaba po, pwede ipa-explain po sa inyo, hingin ng inyong paliwanag. Ngayon, kung tumaas naman po, pwede rin, kung tumaas po ang binayaran ninyo as compared last year of the same month, pwedeng i-appreciate namin at magpasalamat yung TAMP officer po namin. Yun nga po, i-request as taxpayer on the cause of variance. Pwedeng itanungin po ng TAMP officer mo namin yan. Then yung pong mga minomonitor namin, monitor of closure, resolution of open cases. So as of June 2016, ang always KPI target po namin is 80%. I-stop filers handled under TAMP is 521. Ang case close po is 432. So yung sa percentage po is pasado naman po sa KPI targets, more than the target. As 82.92%. So mapunta po tayo sa sa obligation and responsibilities of TAMP taxpayers. TAMP taxpayers are mandated to use the electronic filing and payment systems. Yan po ang EFPS. Pursuant to Revenue Regulation 9-2001 as amended by the Revenue Regulation number 10-2014. Number 2, mandatory submission of summary alpha list of withholding agents of income payments subjected to creditable withholding taxes or SAUT by the payees, income recipient, and monthly alpha list of payees or MAP subjected to withholding tax by the withholding agent income payer as attachment to their filed returns. Attachment po yan sa mga returns, yung SAUT, at saka yung pong sinasabing MAP po. Number 3, obligations. To comply is submission of MAP, South, and SLPI. Ito po yung SLPI, ito po yung summary list of purchases and importation. Yung pong I, importation po yon. Pursuant to the provisions of Revenue Regulation 4-2002. Revenue Regulation number 2014, RMC, Revenue Memorandum Circular 3-2006, and Revenue Regulation 8-2002. So, punta naman po tayo sa what is South and MAP. Summary list of withholding agents, payers of income payments subjected to creditable withholding tax at source, or that is the South. South is a consolidated alpha list of withholding agents from whom income was earned or received, subjected to withholding tax to be remitted by the payee recipient of income as attachment to its duly filed return for a given period, which summary list contains the summary of information showing, among others, total amount of income, gross sales, gross receipts, and claim tax credit taken from all certificate of withholding tax at source. Yan po yung summary po ng BIR Form number 2307 na usually ina-attach natin pagpapile ng yung sa quarterly income tax at saka yung annual na magkiklaim tayo ng creditable po, naka-attachment po yan kung saan galing. Yung ating number of taxpayers, 1,210, ano po, ang individual po dyan is 208 taxpayers. Yung pong korporasyon is 1,202. Out of 28,031 taxpayers, individual and corporation with business, 1,210 or equivalent to 4% are TAM. So napakaliit po ng ating 1%, ano. So kayo po ang bumubuo ng 4% na 80% ang binabayad. So kayo po ay bayani. Kung makita po ninyo, ito po 1,210. Yung pong 294, parang kwan lang po yun mga 24% po yung bago. So karamihan po sa inyo bago.
Magkakanta ko kami through mission orders. Pag nabigyan ho kami na-arm kami ng mission orders, pwede ho kami mag-post-evaluation magkanta kami ng periodical X and C reading ng mga POS and CRM machines po ninyo. Maari ho namin, after ng mga evaluation namin, pwede ho namin i-compare yung reading na nakuha namin sa inyo mga VAT returns or non-VAT returns. At mag-report ho kami ng any discrepancy na makikita sa mga evaluation namin. Yun yung mga CRM POS nyo na existing, pwede ho namin i-revoke yun kung yung permit, pwede namin i-revoke kung sakaling meron kayong mga violation. Para mag-apply ho ng new permit to use ng mga CRM POS, apply lang ho tayo sa www sa BIR.gov sa online. Punta lang ho kayo sa e-service, tapos e-accredge para makapag-apply ho kayo ng permit to use ng inyong machines. Para din hong itong manual official receipts and sales invoices na 5 years ho yung validity ng permit to use. Lahat ho ng existing at na handle ng CRM POS machines permit, meron ho kayong obligation. Mandatory ho ito na mag-report ho kayo ng monthly sales ninyo through e-sales. Mag-enroll ho kayo sa e-sales. Punta lang ho kayo sa e-services, galing nito. Tapos punta kayo sa e-sales and mag-enroll na ho kayo ng inyong monthly, mag-enroll ho kayo doon sa system para makapag-report kayo ng monthly sales. Meron ho mga violation ho ito. Pag hindi ho kayo nakapag-report ng monthly sales, may mga corresponding penalties ho yan. Hindi ko lang ho matanda ko magkano. Ang project po namin ay makipag-coordinate sa LGU para kuhanin yung registered taxpayers nila at i-compare po namin sa mga registered taxpayer ng RDO 42 San Juan. Master list ng LGU na wala sa master list ng BIR, susulatan po namin yon at i-require na mag-register sa BIR. Vice versa po, yung list ng BIR, master list ng BIR na registered taxpayers namin, kung wala po sa LGU, i-require din po nila na mag-register sa kanila. RMC 44-2008 of information taxpayers between... ito rin po yung mga... Yun na nga yung sinabi ko kanina, yung tungkol doon sa mga info na makukuha namin sa LGU na mga gamit namin para makuha namin yung tax base namin, yung number of registrants. At yung ibang information na mga, kunyari, yung dineclare ninyong sales sa local government, compare din namin sa dineclare ninyong sales sa BIR. You know, yung may MOA namin between LGU and kami po, BIR. RR number 4-2014, meron po kaming guidelines para sa mga professionals na monitor po namin yung kanilang service fees. Ang steps po namin para ma-monitor namin ang mga professionals, we will verify list of professionals, professional taxpayers from yung RDC and CSS. Ito po yung mga section sa office namin. Verify income tax returns, VAT or non-VAT returns of all professionals. Titingnan po namin yung mga VAT returns at non-VAT returns na pinaka-file ng mga professionals. Verify payment of annual registration fees kung nagbabayad doon sila ng annual registration fees. Verify kung kumuha sila ng ATP, yung authority to print, kasi required doon lahat ng professionals na mag-issue ng resibo, VAT or non-VAT receipts. At yung huli po, reconcile gross fees per ITR and VAT and non-VAT returns. Kasi may mga nangyayari po na may mga professionals na nagpa-file ng income tax pero hindi po sila nakaregister. Kaya ang nangyayari, income tax lang ho yung nababayaran nila. Hindi sila nagbabayad ng VAT or non-VAT taxes. O meron namang iba na required na nagbabayad mag-VAT or non-VAT pero hindi naman nagpa-file ng income tax. Yun o yung grupo ko, yun o yung magre-reconcile. Susulatan ho namin kayo kung may difference. Okay pa? Okay po sa inyo yan? Nagkaroon ng revision ang lahat ng zonal values sa San Juan noong May 8, 2015 except for condominium units located at Green Hills. Magbibigay lang ako ng sample ng revision. Yung revision nung fourth revision, yung sa Mabini Street, Barangay Addition Hills, 21,000 po. Noong May 8, 2015, na-revise po siya papunta to 27,000. Kaya nagkaroon ng increase na halos 30%. Pero yan lang po yung sa mga residential sa buong San Juan. Hindi ko kasali ang condominium units ng located at Green Hills. Yung grupo po namin ang gagawa ng revision para sa mga yung sa condominium units na located sa Green Hills. I-revisit po namin yung current zonal values of all condominium units. Magkakanda po kami ng survey of prevailing selling price ng all condominium units, old and new and pre-selling. I-involve po namin yung city assessor, BIR, tsaka independent appraiser para mag-come up kami sa tamang revision. Magkakanda po kami ng public hearing para kuhanin din yung mga pahanig ng mga taxpayers o kaya mga real estate owners para doon sa values ng mga properties nila. And then, pag meron na kami napagkasunduan, sasabit na po namin sa regional director o sa national office for review and approval ng bagong zonal value.
New registrants for the year 2015, but registrable taxpayers and no transaction returns filed by the taxpayers for 2015. Ang actions taken, we secured listing of new registrants and taxpayers filing no transaction returns from our regional data center. We monitored compliance of remittances by new registrants from date of registration, and we secured mission orders to check on compliance of declaration of sales, bookkeeping, and issuance of receipts with respect to taxpayers filing no transaction returns. Ngayon po, dun sa listings na nakuha namin, marami po dun yung mga non-VAT registered taxpayers. So, ito po pinrint po namin itong Revenue Regulation Number 16-2011. Importante po ito kasi this regulation sets the threshold for non-VAT registered taxpayers on their aggregate sale of goods, list of services, and performance of contracts at services. Ayan po, makikita niyo po yung adjusted na threshold amount sa sale of goods and list of services ay 1,919,000 4,500 pesos. Ano po ang ibig sabihin nito? Ang ibig po sabihin nito, you should constantly monitor your aggregate sales every month po. Ano? Ngayon po, pagka sumobra na kayo dito sa amount na to, but registrable taxpayers na po kayo. So you should go to our office, mag-update po kayo para sa next filing ano nyo, hindi na po percentage tax, kundi BAT na po ang ipapile nyo. Ano po? And then, another salient feature po nitong regulation, yung lessor po na nagpapalis. Ang minimum na monthly rental per unit not exceeding 12,800 is ano po yun? Hindi po batable po yun. Ngayon po, pag sumobra kayo dun sa per unit po yun, ano? Kahit na i-aggregate nyo yun, hindi batable yun. Pag sumobra kayo dun, pwede rin pong hindi batable yun as long as yung aggregate amount na more than 12,800, hindi lalagpas po sa 1,919 and pesos and 500 din po. Ito, example po ng isang, actual example po ito. Makikita niyo po na ang final niyang returns from January to October, percentage tax return. Ano po? Pagdating po ng November, December, nag-update po siya, pina-end date niya yung percentage na tax return na pinapile niya at nag-file na po siya ng VAT returns. Sana po, ganun din ang gawin nyo. Do not wait for us to remind you, and you should always monitor your aggregate sales para hindi ko kayo magka-problema kasi when we find out that you are not filing the correct return and paying the correct tax, incremental penalties will be imposed dun po sa inyong hindi pagpapile at pagbabayad.
The BIR was tasked to conceptualize and introduce in 2001 what we call EFPS, which stands for the Electronic Filing and Payment System. The filing of returns and payment of taxes ensure a convenience on the part of taxpayers through a much faster processing and immediate confirmation of the tax returns filed and paid. So what is now EFPS? As prescribed under RR 9-2001, it is a paperless tax filing and payment system developed by the Bureau of Internal Revenue, a manner by which filing and payment of taxes is done through the convenience of internet banking service via debit facility from enrolled bank account. So, in this regard, taxpayers can now file their tax returns anytime and anywhere at their own convenience. For as long as they have the email account, they are registered with the integrated tax system of the Bureau of Internal Revenue. And of course, they have a secured computer and a stable internet connection. So who are now mandated to use the EFAS? Kayo po yun. Kayo mga TAM taxpayers under RR 10-2014 are mandated to use the EFPS. And followed by accredited importer and prospective importer required to secure the Bureau's Internal Revenue clearance, importers clearance certificate and brokers clearance certificate under RR 10-2014. And we have also the national government agencies. Ano-ano ba ito mga to? This pertains to the use of the ETRA. So they are now mandated to use the electronic tax remittance advice in settlement of their withholding tax liabilities arising from the use of funds being released by DBM under the General Appropriations Act. And followed by all licensed local contractors under RR 10-2012. Sino-sino ba itong mga to? We have the general contractors, we have also the skilled workers, independent contractors, we have the transportation contractors, and the similar contractors, having a contractor-contractee relationship. Of course, we have also the enterprises enjoying fiscal incentives, yung mga PEZA, BOI, and various zone authorities under RR 1-2010. And of course, the top 5,000 individual taxpayers under RR 6-2009 duly notified by the Bureau of Internal Revenue. So what do I mean by this? Napadalang kayo ng sulat tagging you as one of the 5,000 individual taxpayers. So we have also the corporation with paid up capital stock of 10 million and above under RR 10-2007. Take note again, paid up. Baka ma-confuse kayo, gamitin nyo authorize or subscribe. So, paid up po ang nakalagay, no? So, corporations, of course, with complete computerization or computerized accounting system under RR 10-2007. And procuring government agencies with respect to withholding of VAT and percentage tax under RR 3-2005. So, ito yung mga gumagamit ng mga BI Form 1600 under Executive Order 398, wherein this refers to all persons, natural and juridical, local or foreign, desiring to enter into or participate in any contract with the government, with the precondition that they have to submit proposals and also the latest income and business tax payments. So insurance companies and stockbrokers under RMC number 71-2004. And we have also the large taxpayers under RR 2-2002 as amended, also should be duly notified by the Bureau of Internal Revenue. And comes the top 20,000 private corporation under 14-2008. Likewise, should be duly notified by the Bureau of Internal Revenue. So all of these taxpayers that I have mentioned or enumerated in this regard, ito yung mga dapat mag-file. So those that are not enumerated are deemed excluded. So kung wala kayo dito sa listahan na to, you don't have the business of coming here. Okay? So how to be included in the EFPS? First, go to our website and then click e-services and then enroll to EFPS. Then complete the enrollment form. Then click submit. So pag submit ninyo, a certificate signed by the President authorizing up to 3 officers designated to enroll this system should be submitted also. Then to file return for non-individual. This is for non-individuals only. And then after that, you check your email for enrollment status kung okay na ba. So kung okay na siya, print the submit requirements para ma-validate namin. So of course, before you can pay, you have to enroll with an EFPS authorizing agent banks. So kung ang bangko niyo hindi authorized at kayo'y mag-EFPS na starting tomorrow, dapat magpalit na kayo ng bangko o mag-enroll kayo sa accredited AAB. So, may mga instances kasi, since I have assumed my assignment in RDO San Juan, in March, starting April, meron kami pinadadalang sulat sa mga filers, pero they neglected to e-pay. Marami na kami napadalang sulat. So what are the penalties for failure to use EFPS? So if you are now mandated to use EFPS at hindi kayo nakapag-file o mandated kayo but manually filed pa rin kayo, hindi kayo gumamit ng EFPS, a penalty of 1,000 per return pursuant to Section 250 of the NIRC of 1997 as amended. So, maliwanag ko yan per return. So, ibig sabihin, kung ano yung nasa COR nyo for each tax type of return, dapat may 1,000 ho yun. Kung halimbawa sa isang taon, sa isang tax type lang, 12 yan, so that's equivalent to 12,000 for that tax type alone. So mantakin nyo kung ilang tax type yan at hindi nyo na-i-file, so that's 1,000. With payment return, ibig sabihin, a civil penalty equivalent to 25% of the tax due for filing not in concordance with the existing issuance is tantamount also to wrong venue pursuant to Section 248A3 of the NIRC of 1997 as amended. So kung wala kayong babayaran pero nag-manually file pa rin kayo, na EFS na kayo, papatawa namin kayo ng wrong venue. Okay? Doon sa mga may bayad, ibig sabihin may basic tax due siya. Halimbawa, 1,000 yan, patawan namin kayo ng karagdagang buwis na 250 surcharge. So magbabayad na kayo noon 1,250. But for those with e-pay but failed to meet the deadline, so a 25% surcharge on the basic tax due pursuant to Section 248A, 50% surcharge on the basic tax due because of willful neglect pursuant to Section 248B. Ibig sabihin, alam nyo naman dapat kayo mag-file, pero you refuse to learn and you repeatedly refuse to file. So interest per annum, the basic tax due pursuant to Section 249A, which is 20% per annum ho yan. So that's equivalent to 1.67% a month and 0.056% a day. At meron pang kalakip na graduated compromise penalty for late payment on the basic tax due pursuant to RMO 7-2015 as amended. So a minimum of 1,000 and a maximum of 50,000 pesos under this RMO.
To increase taxpayers' awareness and the role of enforcement in enhancing revenues and promoting voluntary compliance equals special projects. So, ibig sabihin, ang special projects na ito na dinidiscuss ng mga kasama ko kanina, plus the projects that I'm going to discuss later, ay kasama dun sa key performance indicator ng bawat district. So, importante po na maganda ang aming compliance. Kaya inaasahan po namin ang cooperation ng mga taxpayers. Monitoring of inventory, stock taking. Meron po kami mga revenue issuances. Nasa board, kanina pa namin dinidiscuss, pero yung po mga details niyan, hindi na po namin madidiscuss lahat. So, right now, I'm going to discuss only the digest. Kung gusto nyo makita yung full text, you can just go to bir.gov.ph and pero mga download, medyo i-download doon sa website namin. Look, go to revenue issuances. Andun po lahat yung mga issuance na sinasabi namin kanina. Okay? Under RMO 2003, the BIR is empowered to conduct inventory taking of goods of any taxpayer for purposes of determining his correct internal revenue tax liabilities, or it may place the business operation of any person under surveillance if there is reason to believe that such person is not declaring his correct income, sales, or receipt for internal revenue tax purposes. So yun po yung mga sinasubject namin sa stock taking. Now, itatanong po nyo siguro, ano ba ang mga criteria? Lahat ba kayo ay isa-subject? Hindi po. Sa RMO 32003, nagbigay po doon, sinabi po yung mga criteria. And one of them is if a taxpayer has no VAT payable. Ibig sabihin po, yung input tax niya ay lagi ng sobra doon sa output tax na pinapile sa VAT returns throughout the year. Next, taxpayer maintaining an ending inventory of 100% or more of its reported sales. Marami po rito sa amin. Ibig sabihin, ang inventory mo sa asset, 100%. For example, 1 million. Ang benta mo, 1 million din. So, 100% po yun. Candidate po kayo dun sa stock taking. Then, the next is taxpayer which were apprehended for violation of certain rules and regulation. Yun po yung mga na-surveillance namin. Then, nag-issue po ulit ang Bureau ng RMO 32009, issued on January 29. Ito po yung tinatawag namin na Oplan Candado. Siguro po, marami na nakakaalam sa inyo niyan. Ito po yung tinitingnan yung mga compliance nyo, tapos kung medyo may violation, bibigyan po kayo ng 5-day notice to comply. Otherwise, isasarado po o i-stop temporarily. Okay? Ito po yung mga criteria kung bakit kayo isasubject sa Oplan Candado. First, failure of any person to register as required under Section 236. Yun po yung registration of business. Then, yung pong sa case ng mga VAT-registered person, failure to issue receipts or invoice, or yung sales mo ay understated by more than 30% of its correct taxable sales. So, pagka po kayo ay nag-qualify dyan, most probably kayo po ay subject sa Oplan Candado. Now, pag nasarado po kayo, normally ang duration po niyan ay 5 days, not less than 5 days, and shall be lifted only upon compliance. as required by the CIR in the closure order. Okay? So, yung pong, sabihin ko lang po, pagka yung merong mission, merong stock taking or surveillance, dapat po merong mission order na signed by the regional director. Tapos yung mga kasama po doon ay duly armed with proper identification. So kung nakita nyo po na mukhang may duda kayo, pwede nyo tawagan ng office ni ma'am o yung office namin para ma-verify kung legitimate ba yung operations. You have all the rights, ha? Okay. Special project po ay yung Tax Compliance Verification Drive or TCBD. Actually, the BIR has been conducting TCBD since 2003 up to present. And many of the establishments apprehended were found to be unregistered. So, yung po mga case na gano'n, sinusulatan naman kayo to be compliant until you register, file, and pay. So sa TCBD po, maraming klase po yan eh. October 2003, nagkalabas po ang Bureau ng RMO 31-2003. Ito po yung Modified Tax Compliance Verification Drive. Ibig sabihin po niyan, bago po magkaroon ng actual conduct of TCBD, mayroong information drive na ginagawa so that the taxpayer o kayo can be compliant. So, para hindi kayo mahuli. Pero ngayon po, hindi yata ginagawa na yun eh. Kasi kami, sa district namin, gusto namin mayroong element of surprise para makita yung actual na nagbabiolate ng mga bookkeeping regulations. Yun lang. Then also on March 22, 2006, another RMO was come out. Yun po yung tinatawag na conduct of TCBD jointly by the revenue region. Ibig sabihin, hindi lang po taga San Juan ang nagko-conduct ng TCBD. Yung po ibang district, kasama namin, pero under one mission order. Again, ito, lately hindi na rin nagagawa, pero ginawa po namin during the time of Commissioner Paraino. Monitoring of 1604CF and 1604E with ALPALIS. Ito po yung annual information return na dapat isubmit lahat tayo kasi withholding agent eh. So ito ba isinasabit natin pagka-compensation 1604CF plus ALPALIS on or before January 31 of the following year. While 1604E with ALPALIS ay sinasubmit on or before March 1st, I think, of the following year. So basically, ito po yung minomonitor namin. So sana lahat tayo as withholding agent, we can comply so that we can avoid payment of penalties.
The GIS is part of the BIR's Master Reform Program under RMO 2-2014. It is envisioned that with just a click of a button, the BIR will be able to access data on taxpayers in a specific location and or its vicinity. Medyo ano po to, masyadong high-tech dahil sabi ng programmer, once makompleto namin ang data, with just a click of a button, it will be part of the e-services of the BIR. If you want to look for a taxpayer, you simply click the area, alam mo yung pangalan taxpayer, lalabas doon, more or less, parang Google style, makikita nyo kung saan located yung taxpayer. Okay? Pag titingnan nyo, meron dong apat na bagong hinahanap doon sa registration update. I hope you can fill it all up today. Ito po, RMO 2-2014. It will prescribe the use of the revised taxpayer type classification, provide a standard guide on taxpayer types, generate more accurate statistics as to the active taxpayer per taxpayer type and classification, provide uniform report formats of registration reports, and adopt and implement the latest PSIC and PSOC published by the National Statistical Coordinating Board. Yan po yung mga sample, no? Taxpayer type classification. Next. Mga one-time transaction, yun ang mga code na balak sana lumabas. So once chinek nyo ito, halimbawa may prospective clients kayo or prospective suppliers, pwede nyo silang ma-check later on pag na-enhance na itong program at online na siya. The prescribed taxpayer type classification, PSIC and PSOC, shall be an input basis to that system development of the electronic taxpayer information system. This data is only not for the BIR use only. Sabi ko nga kanina, it will be part of the e-services of the BIR, so you can know more about your prospective clients or suppliers. This is the memorandum order of our former BIR commissioner regarding the development of GIS. Listed here are the ones we give away to you earlier, no? Yung naka-memo paper nga lang po. Medyo nagsisave po tayo. Okay. Yan po yung mga datang nakalagay lang dyan. Mga RDO code, taxpayer name, registered name, taxpayer identification number, branch code. Before kasi, yung TIN number lang, no? So ngayon, lalabas yan yung branch code. So malalaman nyo kung itong taxpayer na to, branch lang dito or head office dito sa isang district. Andyan rin yung kanyang trade name, taxpayer classification, unit, room number, and floor. Before, yung floor number kasi natin, pag nasa building tayo, hindi ini-indicate kung anong floor sila. Okay? So, building name, lot number, block number, phase, house number, building number, substreet, subdivision, village zone, barangay zone. Normally sa Manila kasi, which is kung saan nag-umpisa yung rollout nito, bukod sa barangay, meron sila mga zone. So, kaya nagkaroon ng zone. District, municipality, city, province, and zip code. Contact person, contact number, email address, PSIC description of the taxpayer, their tax type, date registered. Where are we now? As provided by the RDC last September 30, 2015, there were 23,514 registered taxpayers sa district natin sa San Juan. Kanina, kung matatandaan nyo, sabi ni Sir Paul Ison, 20,000 na lang ang active business taxpayers natin. So, nawala yung 3,000. Tapos ang inactive business taxpayer for the past 2 years as of September 30, 2015, 10,000 na sila. Karamihan po dyan sa inactive business taxpayers ay mga self-employed professionals kasi karamihan yung iba dyan from being self-employed, naging employed na rin sila. From the start, as of last year hanggang July 15, 2016, 20,103 active business taxpayers, corporation and individuals ang nababalidate namin from the RDC data, which is the 20,103, yan po yung nire-ready namin na i-validate uli sa inyo through filling up of this form. So as a TAMP taxpayer, kayo po ang nauuna ngayon dito sa San Juan para mag-fill up niyan at ma-validate natin kung may mga pagbabago na. Dahil yan po nangyari kasi ngayon, out of district business taxpayers as of July 15, 2016, 433. Sa group po namin, we were assigned 18 each per revenue officer, so 36 TAMP taxpayers. 10 po doon ang hindi namin na-locate based on their ITS registration, the present registration. So 10 yung mamimiss natin, pero as of now, continue pa rin ho ang pag-file nila ng return at active pa rin ho sila, pero hindi ho namin sila na-locate doon sa address na yon. At karamihan ay nag-move out na. Okay? So that is why, please fill up the form. Okay? The compilation and matching of e-card data with ITS records and RDC records. Transferor and transferee of real properties registered in RDO 42 San Juan are to be collated and matched with ITS records of the taxpayers registered in RDO 42. Kung kayo ay may mga property binenta sa Mindanao o sa Visayas o sa Ilocos region o Bicol region and or other parts of the country, kinokulate po namin yan para ma-match po namin sa ITS records nyo to verify if the transferor transferee reported the real property transactions in the returns filed for the particular year and pursue appropriate enforcement actions if necessary. Lahat po, pakicheck na lang po pag nagbebenta ho kayo ng property, make sure na kung commercial po to, yung binenta nyo yung property, at matagal nyo na ho hindi pa nakapag-register sa BIR at ngayon kailangan na kayo mag-register, ayaw nyo na magnegosyo, ibebenta nyo po to. Ngayon pag lumampas ho siya sa kaninang binanggit ng aming group supervisor Greg Tumanggil sa threshold, it will be subject to VAT, then later on subject to income tax upon compilation and matching of the e-card data and the ITS records.
What is Oplan RIP or Rest in Peace? Objective is to track down unfiled estate tax returns and payment of the correct taxes to increase government revenues through enforcement of the laws pertaining to estate tax. What is the procedure in this project? Number one is we have to gather the following information: name of decedents in San Juan City, address of decedents, name of administration or heirs. So yung mga hindi nagfa-file ng return, makikita namin doon. Kanino namin kukunin ang records na ito? Of course, we have to access the records of the following office: Civil Registry of San Juan, hospitals in San Juan City, like for example, Cardinal Santos, at meron pang ibang hospital. Funeral parlors, source din ng information ng mga decedents yan. Of course, pag nag-gather namin yung data, we have to sort the address of the decedents. If the address of the decedent is in San Juan City, we have to conduct enforcement procedures in order to collect the estate tax. If address is out of district jurisdiction, we have to forward the data gathered to the National Office for Proper Disposition. Yan ang Oplan RIPS or Rest in Peace. We are also conducting educational institutions or tinututukan namin yung mga educational institutions. We enforce and collect documentary stamps taxes. This is a priority project of the BIR because educational institutions regularly issue taxable documents such as transcript of records and diplomas. Educational institutions are mandatorily required to use the electronic documentary stamps taxes. Kung meron kayong tanong with regards to the EDST, pwede niyong itanong mamaya. Educational institution, we conduct seminar to discuss the tax obligations and responsibilities of educational institution, either for profit or non-stock, non-profit. We have to conduct enforcement activities and collect deficiency taxes like audit, surveillance, and stock taking. Again, tax campaign project, sa amin din, sa group ko rin na hinahandle to. Yung event ngayon, ako yung naatasan na mag-organize nito para sa inyo because we are trying to provide tax information dissemination services through seminars on various topics to be scheduled on identified dates, kagaya ngayon. To conduct year-round dialogue to discuss various issues concerning specific taxpayers. Merong mga specific taxpayers na after this seminar, iimbitahin namin. If you are interested, yung details ng business ninyo, so we can discuss it in details para sa makatulong sa inyo sa pagpa-file ng income tax returns or compliance. Okay, we believe that a well-informed taxpayer is a compliant taxpayer. That's why we give priority and importance to this project. In the near future, nakaka-receive kayo ng mga letters inviting you to the seminars. Oplan, iboto mo. Last election, it is the first time of the candidates to be monitored. To monitor withholding taxes of campaign expenditures of election candidates within the jurisdiction of our district. And to monitor the proper reporting of excess campaign contribution over campaign expenditures. Nagkameron po kami ng konting collection dito. Maliliit lang naman yung candidates natin, yung kanilang expenditures. Nag-comply naman sila, nagbayad sila ng mga obligations nila. So in the next future, makakatulong sa collection ng San Juan City yung kanilang mga withholding taxes. We have to go to another topic. I think you're all interested and this is the benchmarking project. This is the cup of tea of the current administration. It's a top priority project of the Bureau of Internal Revenue. 2 beses po na-mention First is kay Regional Director, inelaborate niya yung importance ng project na to. And the next is our Revenue District Officer. At kanyang in-explain din na relevant ito sa current campaign ng ating President. At I think in the near future, magiging masaya tayo pag nagbabayad tayo ng taxes. Dahil makikita naman natin siguro yung improvement. Inspired tayo, alam ko. So this benchmarking is implemented by Revenue Regulation 5-2012. Benchmarking is a point of reference for measurement or a set of standards to be used to measure the performance, compliance of taxpayer in a particular industry. Benchmarking of taxpayer refers to the process of setting a standard to determine the performance level of taxpayer in a given line of industry, per industry, industry or sector or line of business. Ano po ba itong process na to? Siyempre, we have to rely on the ratios of businesses. What three kinds of ratios ang gagamitin natin? Gross sales or the VAT ratio, income tax ratio, and the GPR, gross profit rate. VAT ratio is the VAT due divided by gross sales. Income tax ratio is income tax divided by gross sales. While the GPR is the gross profit divided by gross sales. Mamaya, magpapakita po sa inyo ako ng example kung how it works, paano natin ginagawa yung benchmarking so that you may compare your business with the other businesses, or we can simply see the difference of your compliance with other similar industry. Mamaya makikita nyo po, may worksheet tayo. We use these three methods in computing the average figure. Simple average method, high and low method, and effective VAT ratio. Benchmarking, again, we have to establish benchmark, and the established benchmark shall be compared to the actual compliance of taxpayer. Benchmark, establish. The benchmark notice, kung may difference yung benchmarking established against the actual compliance, you will receive a benchmarking notice later on. Hindi naman po ito ibig sabihin ay meron tayong discrepancy or what. It is up to you to see kung bakit ganon. And then you try to explain to us. If you can convince us, we shall consider canceling your benchmarking notice. And in case of failure to respond to the notice, the following enforcement activities shall be imposed. Di ba, stop investigation ngayon? Tama, so hindi kami nag-audit. Probably, I'm not saying, but as a result of yung ginagawang study ngayon ng BIR with regards to the industry benchmarking, probably yung may malalaking difference doon, yun yung i-issuehan ng letter of authority. Then there is the administration will conduct strict monitoring of those cases. So kung kami ang magko-close ng case, we have to justify bakit below the standards kayo. So yun siguro yung susunod na step dito kasi gumagawa na ngayon ng benchmarking rates sa buong Pilipinas. And San Juan has already submitted their own share of the project. Nagawa na po natin.